Hello everyone, Rosa Von Werder, aka Kelly Everts, with my biography of my private and personal life. I haven't said much about my grandmother. Her name was Luba. She spoke Russian and Lithuanian. She never learned English. She had long black hair. Her ancestry was Cossack, Russian. So Cossacks come from the Mongolians. They're horse people. She was an expert horsewoman and an expert swimmer. When the Russian Revolution came in, she had 8 brothers. We were on the side of, they, not me, but our family was on the side of the Tsar. All 8 of her brothers were killed. The Bolsheviks came to our house in Lithuania. Bolsheviks are like, well, you look it up. I'm not an expert on all that history stuff. The Bolsheviks came and they murdered her husband, my grandpa, right in the house. My aunt, his daughter, and a couple other people were in the house when all this, they might have even witnessed it, I'm not sure. So obviously Grandma had a lot to cry about. As I said, she was an expert horsewoman, and I'm told expert swimmer. She was an expert embroiderer, and she was a head administrator or mistress of a girls' school. She told me a couple of anecdotes. I wish she had told me more anecdotes, but here's a couple anecdotes that I'll tell you that she told me. I think she's talking about the Edwardian age here, and Edwardian age would have been right after the Victorian age, so it would have been approximately 1900 to 1920. She said that they wore very tight skirts. Yes, I've seen pictures of Edwardian age women. They wore very elegant long skirts. It was after, you know, the Victorian age had too much crap to it, and they were full and buoyant skirts, and then the skirts became long to the ankles, and they wore like hats with one feather, egrets and all that. So she said she had a skirt made that was tight, and she said we had a phaeton, look up phaeton, P-H-A-E-T-O-N, you'll know what it is. It's a very elegant carriage that horses drive. And she said her husband, my grandpa, told her her skirts were too tight. She shouldn't wear it. So she got up on the phaeton and her skirt ripped from being so tight. So he says, now will you learn to wear something looser? She went in the house, she put another one on just as tight. She was very, very hard-headed, obstinate, you know. So to underscore how hot-headed she was, when she was in school, a girl in school, and one day she said that the teacher said something about dura. Dura means stupid. She said, I'm not dura, I'm luba. And that was, in those days, you couldn't talk back to a teacher, like, in any way, shape, or form. And that started a riot. So all the girls in the class stood up and exited the room, and everybody started some sort of a demonstration. Trying to think what else. She knew how to make all those dishes from scratch, like raviolis and pastas and kugelis. You wouldn't know what that is. It's made out of, it's like potato pancakes, only it's solid. It's got bacon in it. So those dishes are so delicious. How I wish I could make some, but I got to sit down and the recipes are all on the internet. Lithuanian potato pancakes, kugelis, K-U-G-E-L-I-S, Lithuanian raviolis. They're like Polish, like pierogis, but they taste totally different. I mean, you buy this stuff in the market, this stuff tastes totally different, 100 times better. They all knew how to make everything from scratch. Trying to think about my grandmother. Oh yes, yeah, I do want to tell you a bit of an anecdote. This is a downer, but I got to tell you. I got to tell you all the downer stuff. So when we got the new house in Middletown, it had 4 bedrooms. Downstairs was a bedroom with its own adjoining bathroom. Upstairs was one huge room on the left. In the middle was a small room, and on the right was a small room, and the bathroom was on the right side, next to it. But it didn't belong to it, but it was just there. So I was put in the end room in bunk beds with the child. There was a child in our family with child. A little room for me and her. On the far end was the big room, and that was my mother and her lady friend, her best lady friend, lived with us. Their room had velvet, red velvet, and a beautiful royal blue rug, a red velvet couch, beautiful beds with velvet spreads, a beautiful big table that had every perfume on it: Shalimar, Chanel number 22, Chanel number 5, and every famous, expensive perfume that was popular in those days was there. The whole room always smelled like it because they put that on every single day. My room was burlap. Myself and the child, burlap. Brown burlap. The middle room. Why, I didn't really think it out carefully then, but why didn't they give me the middle room? I asked about it, and I think they said, oh, that's going to be Grandma's room. Grandma never came to live with us, but for short visits. They felt that I was not worthy to have the middle room. Now, had they given me the middle room when Grandma visited, I could have moved into the room with the child, couldn't I? It was only a few weeks at a time. I think she only visited us maybe even just once while I lived there. But they wouldn't give me that room. They wouldn't give me the joy, the satisfaction, the respect. Respect is probably the best word to use. So that room remained empty instead of letting me live in it. They got velvet, I got burlap, and an empty room that they would rather keep it empty than let me, a 15-year-old, occupy it. My brother had the bottom with his own private bathroom. He got friends to visit. They were up all night, drinking, yelling, making noise. I couldn't sleep all night. They were making so much noise one time. I brought my girlfriend to visit, and we were going to stay in the middle room. Yeah, they didn't give me permission, but he could have his friends. I tried it out. They kept walking in front of my room and saying, prostitutes, prostitutes, prostitutes. Finally, we couldn't take it anymore. We got up to go to her house, got dressed. And after they abused us like that, my mother had the nerve to come up to me and was going to hit me again. And that was the last time she ever tried to hit me, because I held her hand. I restrained her. I didn't do anything but restrain her, just held her arm by the wrist from hitting me. She loved to punch. She always hit me with her fist. I used to be black and blue all over my shoulders and my neck and my back. They say strong at the broken places. I have the strongest trapezius, especially when I'm regularly lifting weights. I have an amazing, this one guy, he was a bodybuilder, he said she has the strongest and biggest trapezius of any female I've ever met. And I wasn't even a professional bodybuilder. But the places where she was hitting me, That's where I got strong and developed at. So Hemingway was right, you get strong at the broken places.